It's me again, and today's date is Saturday, September 24th, 2022. And there is news. Things are heating up in the Oro Grande. Like they are. Especially where we are. So, this finding goes out. I'll cite C-Plant. His username is The Trend Is Your Friend on Twitter. He pointed this out. He is very diligent in checking the Railroad Commission. I've been very busy with work lately. And he found this and pointed it out to me. So there was a new drilling permit filed on our block in the University Lands. You know, University Lands has quite a bit of land. We have 132,000 acres of that. It winds up being 12 blocks across and 16 blocks down. As a result, we have 4 big blocks, A, B, F, and E. It's a big rectangle. And the filing for this particular well was in block B48. That's the lower right-hand corner of block B, or the southeast corner of block B. If you pull up the drawings, the final stamp construction drawings, well, they're not really construction, it's the mapping drawings, but they've been approved by the professional services. They have the stamp of approval on them. If you pull up the FCDs here, you will see that it is by the bull tank. And I will pull up Google Maps. This is where it is on Google Maps. There's the bull tank, and here it is in Respects. So it's in this area, which is on the Torchlight Nextbridge lease lands. Again, we own the oil and gas on this land. We own overall 49.9% of the oil and gas. If you take out the royalty holders, we have 66.5% working interest. Royalty holders have 0 working interest, but they get money from the oil and gas. Again, remember, landowner, mineral owners, and leases are 3 separate entities. And it's still a tactic used by FUD to confuse people who don't really understand how that works. But we own 49.9% of the oil and gas overall on this area. And as well as in our area. And if you look at the FCDs, you will notice Hudspeth Operating, which is great. That's us. That's Nextbridge. That's us, guys. So what does this mean? Well, if we go back to the S1, the recent S1A even, as you're well aware, there was quite a bit of risk assessment, risk statements in that. One of them they talked about, well, if we're going to drill, we have to raise significant capital. But the spin-out hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting for the spin-out to finalize. So why are they filing drilling permits now if they don't have the money for it? This could be one of 2 things. It could be, 1, there is a potential buyer, and this is them testing. We've never seen Tug Oil before. This is not to be confused with Tug Oil Operating, Tug Hill. This is not to be confused with Tug Hill Operating. This is a separate company called Tug Oil and Gas. Remember how there were 2 Mavericks? One was in Florida, which is now in Midland, Texas. And the other one was EIG company, which worked with Torchlight, Maverick Natural Resources, Maverick Operating, which used to be called Unbridled. They kept the horse logo. That was a big confusion for a while. If you look back on cases of other oil and gas sales, I've talked about this last year quite a bit, that the buying companies took control of the assets before the sale was announced. This could very well be that. I know I've said it before with the previous permits filed. The previous permits filed were still under Hudspeth Operating. This is not under Hudspeth Operating. this is under Tug as the operating company, Tug Oil and Gas, which is out of Breckenridge. That's a good way to look at it, is where the company is out of. This company is out of Breckenridge. I talked about the area before. Actually, that's how I get up to 20. I go to Rising Star, and you go north. I talked about how they widened the road in Rising Star because of all the oil and gas trucks. If you go to 20 and you keep going north on that road, you'll get to past Cisco. That's where like the hotels are and the gas stations off 20. But if you go north of that, that's Breckenridge. Tug Oil and Gas does have a lease and some wells in Breckenridge. I'll pull up the map here. The company was started in 2021, February of 2021. So they're a rather new company. Tug Hill is an older company. But this Tug's rather young. So it makes me wonder who contracted them out. Was it Hudspeth? Because the previous permits were under their name. Or was it somebody else? It could be somebody else. Or it could be Hudspeth. They did have some money left. And, you know, you could file a permit. It's not too much to file a permit. So we will see as time goes on. I certainly take this as a positive and evidence that there is a buying company. Again, it's a different name. We haven't seen this name before on any of the permits. It's a newer company. They probably got contracted out. The company I work for, we subcontract out quite a bit of our work. And this could be one of the cases. And some of the subcontractors, that's their name on the permit. Notice how it says Hudspeth Operating on this. And again, I'll pull up, here's the Torchlight leasehold, otherwise, which is now Nextbridge. You have blocks A, B, E, and F. And then here's the construction drawings. It shows it's in section B48, block B, number 48. And there's the bull tank. If you pull up block B48, yeah, here it is. It's on our lease, and there's the bull tank on Google Maps. So I'm pretty convinced it's on our land. And again, I think it's the potential buying company subcontracting out to this little guy. Why would they use a little guy? They probably use a little guy because, nobody's really going to think anything of it, and you subcontract out to a little guy. It's less likely to be noticed who it is. That's just my reasoning. Again, I've worked with permits, subcontracting, and how to put it on the permits. I work with permits every day. I'm calling jurisdictions every day. If my boss is watching this, he could probably nod and attest. If you look at the permits, again, you can see B48. If you look at the permits, you will notice that it says SWR 36, and that's a rule for Hydrogen Sulfide Gas Safety. So here's the PDF of it. I'll pull it up here. I talked about hydrogen sulfide gas with my drilling friend here, and I showed some pictures. But that's a precaution, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to encounter lots of hydrogen sulfide gas. There's rules. There's a whole book, 76-page book, link below if you'd like to read about it, about testing, what levels. And of course, this is a new drill, so in case hydrogen sulfide gas is encountered, follow the rules of the book. Okay, that's fine. I'm very excited about this permit. I think it's the buying company because the S1 stated, we need to raise more capital to drill. But you can get around that if there's already a potential buyer and they want to poke around. They want to take control of the asset. Again, I'll cite Shell. I've cited quite a few deals where the buying company took control of the asset before the sale. And of course, there we go. See, drill, sale. Again, I'm excited about this, guys. I'm pretty pumped. As of course, we are waiting for comments from the SEC in regards to the newest S1A. If the S1A comes back with dates on it, if you see dates on that S1A, like new record date is this, then it's in effect. It's go time. If there's no record dates, well, something got, there had to be something else changed on it this time. We will see with that. That's a good way to tell right off the bat. So if I'm not around and you see that S1A, if it says record date this day, then of course the S1A is ineffective. It was approved by the SEC. If you see the S1A get filed and there's no dates, then we're waiting. And I'll cite this because if you look at lots of companies, different S1s and S1As, that's when you know it's effective. Okay, guys, I will see you soon. Goodbye.